Banky special.
Yeah.
Pure deliciousness.
Pure deliciousness, man. My name is Banky, man. Everybody calls me Banky. That's the name that I got from my grandmother when I was young. I'm coming out here after 30 years. Yeah, I ain't got nothing, but I'm gonna have something because I'm rich in personality, you know, and I'm rich in love. My family love me, and that's really all that counts. Yeah, that was crazy. I was like, what? Yeah, man, it's the female that I knew from the street. She had got a job there. She was working there. She was working on the other side of the yard. She had been there for a while. She ended up being on the other side of the yard, and she was got involved with an inmate over there. And see, one thing about that, when them females get involved with an inmate over there, especially if they get deep into it and they all into it, they all in. They will have other females who work with them that they cool with, and that female might work the booth, and while she working the booth, she'll cover for the other female. So the other female might dip off in his cell or something when everybody go out for lunch or everybody go out for rec, and the female in the booth can open and close the door so she's secure. If somebody else is trying to come in the building, a supervisor or whatever, she can, you know, forewarn her. She can open the door, she can rattle the door or something to give her enough time to get herself together before she let the other people in, because they can't get in without the person in the booth. So it was like a little safe formula that they would get together, man. And most of the time, the female in the booth might have had somebody that she liked, and it would be going on back and forth like that. But you'll get dudes that be so jealous, and they'll end up telling it. They'll drop that word to the administration. So then the administration is looking for it, and they try to find ways to get it. They might come in through the back door where they use keys or whatever if they know something is going on, and try to catch that person in the act. And, you know, because like I say, they need actual proof. They can't just go off of word of mouth, no matter who it come from. They can confront you, but if they confront you, more or less, they're putting you on point that you're being watched. So whatever you're doing, you can just start doing it more cautiously. So they don't usually try to do that. They usually try to catch you in the act so they can really have a leg to stand on. But man, I was just totally shocked, man, when this person that I knew from the street, I knew her family, I knew her brother, you know, and she had got over there, got caught up with the dude and said they had supposed to be in a relationship for a while, a couple of months, and she had been sneaking in and out of his cell, you know, having sex with him, doing whatever they do in there. And, you know, she was in love with the dude, and, you know, I guess vice versa. But, man, she had got so comfortable, she went over there one time and went in the cell with him and actually had sex with him and actually fell asleep. And I don't know what the person in the booth was doing. To my understanding, the person in the booth got relieved. Somebody came to relieve them, to give them a break. So there's a different person in the booth, and somebody had told them that they was in the cell together. That officer called the administration. They came over there, went to the cell. She up in the cell, laid up under this dude, you know, like they at home in the bed or something, man. And they caught her, man, fired her, and walked her off there, handcuffs and everything, locked the dude up, give you charges or whatever, ship you off to another institution and try to prosecute her. Since I've been home, I never even checked, you know, to find out if she ever got prosecuted, whatever happened to her. That's always the narrative that they gonna give you. The female officer got prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, this, that, and the third. Whether it be true or not, we never really know. But that be the narrative that they spread all over the compound because they want to deter other female officers from doing the same thing. You know, it's like a humiliation tactic or whatever. But yeah, I actually knew that female, and I actually knew her well. And, you know, it just, I can't even really say it really surprised me because, like I say, I knew her, but it just was something that I was like, wow. You know, and even when I called home on the street, you know, people had knew about it. Man, I heard such and such got caught up in there. Ooh, I said, I don't know. I just, you know, I heard things in here too, but I can't say, confirm it or know if it was actually her. I just heard it was her or whatever, but it was her. You know what I'm saying? But it was crazy. So, you know, like I say, things like that go on, man, because these females, you have some females that come in there with the entire agenda of just finding a dude, you know, because they've had so much bad luck on the street, so much disappointment in dudes. I think in their philosophy, they feel like if they come into prison and they find a dude and they treat him good, show him some love, show him some concern at the lowest point of his life, that he feels like he you know, he can trust her, he's indebted to her, and he will be sincere to her. I think a lot of them have that philosophy, and in a lot of ways it's true, because like I say, at that point in time in your life, you're at the lowest point of your life. In my opinion, you're at the lowest stage of your life on earth above ground that you will ever be, because you are without your freedom, you are without your liberation. So people show you love at that point in time in your life, you really feel endeared to them and, you know, indebted to them because of the love that they shown you. You feel a sense of loyalty to them. So in that aspect, but I say I can't speak for every man. I know that that's how I feel, you know. But yeah, you have women that come in there with that agenda alone, man. I can remember a female came in there. She was a nurse, and she was a Caucasian nurse, and the rumor was, and she was a little older, maybe, you know, older than me at the time of my bit. Maybe at that time she might have been, you know, close to 50, if not 50, and I heard that her family was rich. You know, her family was affluent. They had a lot of money, a lot of influence out here in Virginia. You know, her siblings or some was even like the mayor of their county and all of the stuff that they had going on. But she was an RN, so she came in there as a nurse. But she came in there, man, and she came in there flirting with every dude that you could possibly think of, man. She was flirting with them. You know, I told y'all about the way that, you know, the gunning game going there, the dudes masturbate and they get females that will watch. You got females that don't play. You got females that do play. You got females that request it. And I heard that she was one of those type of women that she would, you know, always get around the dudes and let them, you know, masturbate. Dudes that was working in the kitchen, they said when she came in there on breaks, her lunch breaks or whatnot, and go in there to get food and stuff, she would flirt with the inmates that worked in the kitchen and all of this and all of that. But then there's one in particular dude that I knew real well. He ended up getting her, you know. He ended up getting her, and this was the most unlikely dude that you can even imagine. And he just was, you know, unlikely. This was just like an unlikely couple if you look at it from sight, you know. But she ended up liking him. He ended up liking her. She quit her job immediately. You know, she quit her job immediately, you know, started corresponding with him. And usually when that happens, they would not let you come back on that institution to visit that inmate because you work there, you know, the infrastructure of the prison, you know how it goes, and you could tell him things that could possibly aid and abet him in escaping or whatever. So they would usually move that dude, you know, because you have to jump through a whole lot of hurdles and a whole lot of loops to be able to come see that person. You have to wait a certain amount of time that you won't work in there, like 6 months. If that person was still on the institution, you could request to come see him. All of this and all of that. But I can remember, yeah, they got together, man, and she started liking him and whatever. She quit. She started writing him. She tried to come see him. They wouldn't let her. They found out that she was trying to come see him, so they assumed that something was going on while she was there. They ended up moving him. I can remember being moved years later, and I went on another institution, and I was there with him, went in the visit room, seeing him and her in the visit room together. They had actually got married. It was crazy, man, because I can remember her being the nurse. They had got married. She had, like I said, her family had a little power, a little influence. And like I say, with a little power, a little influence, and a little money, you can make things happen, especially if you've been in the prison for a while. You know, and next thing you know, man, this dude had been in the prison for a while. At that time, longer than I had been in prison. And he got out. I remember they getting him out. You know, I don't know how they got him out, but they ended up getting him out. He got out, you know, he was married to, I heard he moved to where she was or whatever, and they started a family. You know, some of them work out like that. You know, but I say that to say she came in that prison with the agenda to find a man. And she found one that worked for her, that suited her agenda, what she needed in her life at that time. And, you know, like I say, it happens like that. And I've seen it over and over again, man. But these dudes, they will get obsessed with these women. And some dudes will, you know, they will not know how to hold water. They will not know how to keep it to themselves. A lot of these things get blowed up because the dude talk too much. He get to telling people, oh, I mess with such, oh yeah, that's my girl or whatever. Or we got this going on. I know, I guess it's because it's a combination of things. He's so happy to have a female, you know, companionship, but also he feels the need to brag because, you know, he got a female CO. So that right there alone, you know, loose lips sink ships, man. And that always be the downfall of the situation. Because like I say, it don't take but so many people that you can say it to before it get to somebody who gonna be jealous, and they gonna put that word in the administration ear. And once the administration get word of it, the game is over. They coming to find out or whatever, you know. I remember another dude, he was in the block with me, man, and this was this woman that came to work there. She was an older woman as well, maybe in her mid-40s, and she started liking this dude, unlikely dude, young dude, probably about 29. And when you look at him, I felt like this woman right here she was a very, very attractive woman, man. Very attractive, older, distinguished woman. She didn't even fit in the mode of being a CO. But like I say, she came there with that agenda. And for whatever reason, this dude, he worked on the shift that she worked on. He worked that night shift, the same shift that she did. So when you are in that, working like that, you have more time and more opportunity to talk with her, to get more familiar with her, to get, comfortable with her. And I guess that's what happened between both of them. And he ended up, being in a relationship with her, but he was calling her on the wall phone, which they monitor, but he was calling another number, but they was talking so much that someone put it in their ear and they started listening to those conversations, and they, got out of those conversations that he was talking to her, whether that was her number or not. They saying divorce match, things that they had said that they could, match it up. Well, they ended up finding her. They ended up locking him up. And he ended up going to another institution, and she ended up coming to the other institution to see him. And they ended up, being in a relationship and ended up getting married as well. You see what I'm saying? So sometimes it works out, sometimes it don't. But one of the main things that usually mess the situation up, whereas to if a female do genuinely like a convict and he really trying to get with her, is that they be so scared and so worried, because you have some of these dudes, which we call, or I call, cold, uncut Bammers, they would get with a female CO or whatever, for whatever reason she liked him and he liked her. They would even be pursuing her, and then if they do get through, they would usually try to get her to bring in drugs or bring in contraband or do this or do that, because that was their agenda. You see what I'm saying? And for whatever reason, the female liked him, but that was their agenda, to be able to get things in there that they couldn't have, opposed to getting that relationship, getting that connection with a female. So that be their angle at what they going at, and that was this dude's angle. And you have dudes like that, and they'll do that, and then once they get in, and then they be doing what they doing and making money and doing what they doing, and then they get caught. When they get caught, they tell on the female. You see what I'm saying? The cardinal sin. They tell on the female. Why would you tell on someone that's helping you, regardless of the situation, that she's an officer? Dudes who try to justify, so, well, she a CO, she bringing me in and stuff, you know what I'm saying? They gonna do this to me, give me some more time. See me, they tell me if I tell on her, I'm good, and I don't feel like it's telling, because I'm telling on the officer. Telling is telling, you know what I'm saying? Telling is telling, and not only is it the officer, but you telling on somebody that was actually helping you. Regardless of what their status is, they helping you in the situation that you're in. But you had dudes that would do that, man. I knew this one cat, man, this dude, man. I don't know what he was telling these women. I don't know how, but I have never been on an institution with him. I've been on four different institutions with him. 4. And on every institution I was on with him, he pulled a female. Be it a female officer or a female nurse or a female counselor, he ended up getting a female. I don't know, like I say, he must have had a good game, a good rap game or whatever, but he ended up getting a female every institution I was on. But also, every institution I was on that he ended up getting a female, he ended up getting caught, because he always had them bringing in drugs. He always had them bringing in some type of contraband. Then when he got caught, he would always make a deal with them to tell on the CO who bought him the drugs and the contraband. And once he got caught and told them that, they want the CO more than they want him, because they always rationalize like, well, he locked up, he doing time anyway. Only thing we can do is give him more time, which is not a lot when you get caught with drugs in there. It's not a lot of time. It ain't like you're getting caught with no kilos or nothing. So what they would do is, they would always make a deal. Okay, well, we'll ship you to another institution. You just tell us who brought it to you, and we're going to deal with them. And they would try to make an example out of the CO. So he would tell on the CO every time, and just get moved to another institution and do the same thing. And it would just always amaze me, because it seemed like that would be in his record, and once it's in his record, they would spread that over the compound, or these COs would know, don't mess with him. But man, it ain't work for him. He pulled a woman everywhere he went, and did the same thing every time, man. And it was just I don't know what he had game. That's the best I can tell you, man. He had game. He talked his talk and he got through to all of them, but he always crossed them all. But like I say, you have dudes like that will always make the females be scared about messing with a dude, even if they like the dude, because they always figured that, you know, they would end up like that. And some of them, like I say, didn't mind because they came there to find a man. But at the same time, they didn't want to get in trouble where they would have a street case on them, or they would have to go to court or things like that, or get fired. They would rather, you know, come in there, find the dude that they wanted to be with, create a relationship with him, see how he was or whatever, and then just quit the job on their own and then let everything else they pursue to happen. You know, one of my best friends out here today on the street, man, you know, he met his wife and been with her now for 13 years. He met her in there as a nurse, you know, and they did nothing. They had no sexual relations, no nothing. They just had conversation and they bonded and they established a relationship. She left the job, went somewhere else because she felt feelings for him. She told him if he was serious about being with her, he would, you know, quit the job that he was doing and go ahead and check in and go to jail and stayed in jail till he got transferred. He did that, got transferred, went to another institution. She started coming and see him. When she started coming and see him, they, you know, bonded, got married. She rode it out with him for some more years and years and years till he made parole. He made parole, been out here on the streets now for about 4 years, and they've been together all together for 13 years, happily married and living their life and, you know, doing their thing. So like I said, it does work out sometime, but not all the time. More often it don't work out than it do. And, you know, a lot of the reason be because either she or he is playing games or either both. You know, so it's a crazy dynamic, man, but it goes on every day in prison, man. And that dude right there, like I said, he stayed getting a woman and he stayed telling on him, and they stayed keep on trying him and giving him shots. Yeah, he kept getting shots, man. So I don't know if he's still locked up or not. You know, I don't want to call his name because I don't want to blow him up. But he knows if he out here and he watching this, he know who I'm talking about. And most dudes that was locked up with me know who I'm talking about. But like I said, it's just so many different dynamics to this, man. You have women that come in there too, and they be just so loose, man. I've known women that came in there that multiple dudes have had sexual relations with them because that's all they want. You know, that's all they want. And they would take them chances until they get caught. And when they get caught, they would, you know, walk on up out of there as if nothing had happened. You know, not even that they was looking for a relationship. They was just looking for that, you know, sexual companionship, you know, with dudes that was incarcerated. I've seen females that come there and get caught having sexual relations with other officers. You know, I've been on institutions like that where 2 officers got caught having sex, you know, with one female officer in the stairway while we was locked in doing count. You know, they got caught having sexual relations while we was locked up doing count. They got caught from the camera. You know, we in there doing count and they in the hallway, you know, doing they freak nasty. You know, having a threesome and whatnot. So it goes down in there more often than people hear about because, excuse me, they try to keep those things under wrap, you know. They don't want those type of things to get out to the public, but you'd be surprised at the things that goes on in there and behind them walls, man. And especially when dealing with females, because like I say, just imagine the layout. You in there with 1,000 dudes, sexually frustrated, no female companionship, but you got these females walking around here all day, more females than males, wearing clothes, you know, this fit like leggings, you know, talking, smelling like perfume, wearing lipstick, fingernails, all of this stuff, and they expect you not to say nothing to them, not to be attracted, not to be aroused, not to be, you know, drawn to that type of stuff when you're denied all of that because you don't see any other females but them, you know. So it's a crazy thing, man. It's a crazy thing. You have to really, like I say, be into yourself and understand where you at and what's going on, not to get really caught up. And more dudes get caught up than not, believe me. And like I say, fights break out, you know, beefs break out. dudes actually be beefing. I've seen dudes, excuse me, I've seen dudes beefing with dudes over a female when her actual husband worked there. Her husband is actually working there too. He's an officer and he's beefing with her. I can remember the first female that I knew. I think I spoke on her before. First female that I knew, man. Shout out to Derek S. if he watching this, because he was on Mecklenburg. He know what I'm talking about. The first female that I can remember, man, that had just like multiple dudes, man, just in love with her and infatuated with her. Probably because she was unique as far as in a penitentiary, because she actually had a magnificent body. She was a nice looking woman. She was very flirtatious, but her husband actually worked at the institution as well. But she flirted with multiple dudes, man, had multiple dudes in physical altercations, had dudes get stabbed, had dudes get their cells set on fire, you know, all of jealousy over her. And she ain't want nobody. She just loved to flirt, loved to antagonize dudes, loved to arouse dudes and stuff like that, because her husband actually worked on the institution, you know, and she did it a lot, man. And I seen a lot of dudes get messed up and get in the trick bag messing with her. You see what I'm saying? Because like I say, ultimately the female has all the power. She has all the power because of the position that she's in, and it's a superior position than the one that you're in. You know, no matter what, even the ones that come there that are, for lack of a word, unattractive, they get more attention in the prison than they would get on anywhere else on the planet, because of the way of the dynamics, the way that dudes are, the way that dudes are pressed for a woman. You know, like I say, he's going to find something attractive about her if in his normal sight, his normal eyesight, nothing is attractive about her. But under the conditions that he's under, he's going to find something attractive if it ain't nothing but her niceness towards him, if it ain't nothing but her politeness, if it ain't nothing but her, you know, her kindness, you know, then he will find something, man, and he would, you know, normally pursue that situation. A lot of the relationships come out of when an inmate has to work with a woman for hours on end. You know, usually that's not the case when you're in prison, but you have jobs that require that, like the kitchen. You know, dudes who work in the kitchen always get caught up with them females, because it ain't nothing working in the females but kitchen. Usually the kitchen supervisor is a woman. Usually the kitchen staff is 90% women. So dudes that work over there, because you have to have convicts work over there, inmates work over there, because, you know, they have to be the ones who do all the labor work. The supervisors are females and stuff, but they only supervise. But you have a blind area where officers are not, you know, over there like that. They're not in the freezer room. They're not in the stock room. They're not back there where they're making the food at. They're out front. So these dudes are actually back there with the females by themselves for hours and hours, you know, 6-7 days a week. And they form relationships because they talk, they communicate, they have to. You see what I'm saying? Because of their job and because of, you know, the proximity. They have to. So when that happens, normally, you know, nature takes course. You know, people are going to be attracted to people. They can say all that they want. You know, you have females that come in there with that type of, I don't mess with inmates. I don't even look at y'all. It don't matter to me whether you're attractive or not. It don't matter. I don't even see you like that because you locked up. You know, you have some like that. Even though they be lying, you know, I don't care who you are. If you are a heterosexual female and you're in a prison with 1,000 dudes, you're not going to tell me one of these dudes, not one of these dudes are attractive to you. That's impossible. You know what I'm saying? I just feel it's impossible. You know what I'm saying? It's mathematically impossible. 1,000, 0, nah, I just don't believe that. They just take upon that attitude. But in the same token, like I've said, I've seen every dynamic you can even possibly think of. I've seen some of the women that act so hard and act so mean, and then they be the ones who end up caught up in a relationship. You know, they find somebody that they fall in love with, and they ended up getting caught up, ended up getting fired, or end up getting, you know, kicked off the institution or whatever. I've seen dudes have relationships with female inmates, female officers, counselors, female sergeants, lieutenants, captains. I've seen dudes have relationships all the way up to where I could never really confirm or not confirm, but I know once it was assistant warden who actually liked the inmate, you know. And if you're in that position right there, you basically can do whatever you want to do, because she can call you and put you in any position that she want to put you in where can't nobody be around but you and her. And when you actually go see the warden or the assistant warden, then you actually see them alone in their office. So is nobody going to come in their office and interrupt. There's no one's going to come in there without knocking. So whatever can happen can happen. I've been on institution with female rec supervisors. They got their own office and they can give you a rec job, and you can be working down there with them, and you can be in private areas with them at times where no one can get in there. No one can be down there. So it just all depends on, who you're attracted to and who is attracted to you. Because I've seen it all transpire. And like I said, it just depends on the person. And then, like I said, you have females that will put up that facade like there's no way that they will ever mess with an officer. There's no way possible. I never do this. I never do that. But it happens. It happens a lot, and it happened everywhere I've been. I've never been on an institution in 33 years where it was not some female who got caught up with messing with an inmate or a convict. Never, ever. Even in the jail, a woman got caught in the jail when I was in the jail for messing with an inmate. She was writing him back and forth, and they found a letter. So like I said, it goes on, man. It goes on, but it's a dangerous situation. I used to try my best to stay away from it because of the simple fact, like I said, I didn't want to get caught up. I didn't want to get, in a situation where I didn't know what might happen. And there's been some females over the years that have came on to me, females that I might have thought was attractive. But at the same time, especially early in my bit or early in my sentence, I avoided it. I was the one who shied away from it. Now, when I look back on it in retrospect and I say to myself, I could have did this, I could have did that. I kind of regretted it as the years went by and the years went by, if nothing else, just for the experience. But at that time in my bit, and at that time and what I knew, the knowledge about the situation, I just felt it was more dangerous than it was worth the risk, And that perspective changed as I got, deeper and deeper into my bit. You know what I'm saying? It just changed because, like I say, of the frustration, of the situation, of my current state. But I also can remember this one female, man. She had came there, and she was a nice looking female, young. She was nice looking, but she was vicious, man. I mean vicious. When I say vicious, I mean with her mouth. She was vicious with her mouth. She was vicious with writing charges. She always talked slick. She would antagonize inmates, and everything that she did, she backed it up with writing you a charge. She would cuss at you. If you cuss back, you get a charge for vulgar language. If she caught you in the wrong place, she give you a charge for being in an unauthorized area. If you said something too aggressive to her, she'll get you locked up. You're in jail. She say you threatened her. She was just mean, man. And she was, like I say, she was an attractive young girl, pretty little girl. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, she had a nasty attitude. Like she just did not like people that was locked up, which is a crazy, dynamic within itself. Why are you working here if you don't? Are you just working here to torture dudes? Are you just working here to make dudes more miserable? Why are you working here if you have such, disgust for people that's locked up? So I don't know if somebody did something to one of her peoples before on the street, and she had because people find reason to have something against you when you locked up. Whatever your crime may be and whoever it may have been against, it has nothing to do with them, but they just don't like you because of that. So it's different things that goes on. You never know what goes on in someone's mind. You can only assume. But I just remember her, and she was just so mean, man. She wrote so many charges. In my block alone, I could think of at least 15, 20 dudes that she wrote charges on. So she had that reputation, and she had not even been there long. But I can remember, man, during this time and where I was, which I won't say, but where I was, I can remember at this time, I had a cell phone, right? And so I used to be on point at all times. When I heard that side door open, I'm looking. If I heard any noise, I'm looking. I just stayed on point because I'm riding dirty. And I can remember her, she usually worked the yard, but she be put in the booth sometime to give people a break. When you take a break, whatever officer is available comes in to give you a break. By her working the yard, if the yard was full or one about on the yard, she would come in and relieve people and give them breaks. So I can remember one time seeing her come in our booth, and I heard the door open, and I'm in my cell by myself, and mind you, I got the phone, so I'm always on point. So I go look, and I see it's her in the booth. I'm like, oh no. So I'm more nervous because she in the booth, because I know she's a hawk. She looking for anything wrong so she could say something or call the people or go check on this. He doing that. Well, that's how she was. And I can remember, man, people was outside for rec, but I was in there. So when people go outside for rec, the pod usually empty. No more than about 5, 10 people stay in there. So I stay in because that was my time that I could use the phone, because I could hear everything and mostly everybody was gone. So when I seen her go in the booth to give the person a break, I go look and see she in the booth. So now I ain't really worried about messing with the phone. I'm waiting for her to leave because, you know, like say she's a hoe. So, man, I'm looking out there and I can remember 2 dudes coming in, and one of these dudes slept in the block. And he came in the block with another dude that does not sleep in the block. And he went to the booth and he said something to her, and she opened the door and let him go up to his cell with the dude who don't sleep in there. Now, mind you, she's a hawk. She know everything. She knows this dude don't sleep in there. She know everybody. You know what I'm saying? By name, by where you sleep at and everything. So that struck me as super strange that she would let him come in the block, let alone go up to his cell. So he went up to his cell with that dude, and they went in the cell, closed the door, and covered the door up. So I'm like, man, hold up, this is kind of strange, you know what I'm saying? So I'm looking at the situation, and it just puzzled me so much. You know, like, this woman, the super cop, she's acting like this, she letting this go on. So I was like, that's interesting. You know, now, this particular dude was cool with my cellie. That's his best friend, as a matter of fact. They in business together. They run parlay tickets together, gambling tickets together. So I didn't ask him because I didn't want to, you know, tip him to, you know, something was strange going on, or I felt like something was strange going on. But anyway, as the story goes on, when I ended up getting locked up for the phone, this is a story that I told y'all before on another one of my stories. And when I got locked up and my cellie had, you know, told his best friend that I had the phone, and then when I ended up getting the phone back, people was calling me, asking to speak to him, so I knew he had let that dude use the phone. This was the guy. So fast forward, now I remember him calling me, and he was sending me different pictures that he was getting off of the internet and stuff, or asking me, did I check this website, this, that, and the third. You know, we looking at, you know, porn and all this other stuff. So he was sending me stuff while I was on the other side of the yard, which I didn't even want. I'm like, don't be sending me all this stuff, man. I got a phone, I can, you know, but he was doing it. Do you know he messed up one night and sent me this picture, and he called me and kept texting. I didn't answer the call. He kept texting me immediately to say he sent it to the wrong person, you know, to delete it. But I looked at the picture, and when I looked at the picture, it was a naked picture of the CO.
The Banky special.
Yeah.
Pure delicious.
Pure deliciousness, man.
My name is Banky, man. Everybody calls me Banky. That's the name that I got from my grandmother when I was young. I'm coming out here after 30 years. Yeah, I ain't got nothing, but I'm gonna have something because I'm rich in personality, you know, and I'm rich in love. My family love me, and that's really all that counts.